We're going to go to Exodus chapter 20, Ecclesiastes 12, and Revelations chapter 22, and then we'll get into the lesson.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Thank you, brother. Let's go hit Ecclesiastes chapter 12.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Thank you, brother. So our last place is Revelations chapter 22, verses 14 and 15.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter through the gates into the city. For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Thank you, brother. All righty. Let me start by saying good morning, Bay Area.
Good morning.
And welcome home here at the Israel of God Bible study class, where we teach the Bible by subject and title. My name is Brother James. Reading us today is Brother Philip. Today's lesson is titled Lamentations, Past and Present. Lamentations, Past and Present. The book of Lamentations, brothers and sisters, was a book of poetic words written by the prophet Jeremiah, who witnessed one of the destructions of Jerusalem. Okay? And these words are expressions of humiliation, the suffering, and the despair of Jerusalem and her people. So in today's lesson, we will see that the lamenting continues even to this day, even right now. Why? Why? It's because the behavior in that day that brought on the destruction is the same behavior going on today. You're serving false gods and you're serving yourself. Okay? So we're going to start today's lesson, which is a historic lesson. This is a history lesson. We're going to start in 105th Psalm, Psalm 105. And we're going to do some jumping around. And we have some statistics that we're going to read to you later. we have some articles and some historical facts and truths that we're going to sit in front of you today, okay? Psalm 105, and we're going to start at verse 1, and then we're going to do a little skipping, okay? Psalm 105, my brother, let's start at verse 1, 105 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Oh, give thanks unto the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the people.
Yes, sir. Skip down to verse 6 and continue.
O ye seed of Abraham, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen.
So he said, oh, you seed of Abraham and you children of Jacob, his chosen people, okay? Skip down to verse 9 and continue.
Which covenant he made with Abraham and his oath unto Isaac.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant.
So we see the word everlasting right there. The covenant he made with Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. So he's not talking about two different sets of people. Okay. It's an everlasting covenant. Go ahead and read.
Saying, unto thee will I give the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance.
So he gave them the land of Canaan when he brought them out of Egypt. Skip down to verse 17.
He sent a man before them, even Joseph, who was sold for a servant.
So before Israel went down into Egypt, Joseph went down there first. He impressed the people, impressed the Pharaoh, and they made him second in charge. So skip on down to verse 23 and continue.
Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham.
Because that's what the continent of Africa and even that area where Israel is today, all that area is called the land of Ham. The children of Ham, Noah's son, populated those areas, okay? Go ahead and read.
And he increased his people greatly,
yes,
and made them stronger than their enemies. He turned their hearts to hate his people,
yes,
to deal subtly with his servants.
Now pay attention to verse 25 right there. The Lord turned the hearts of those people in Egypt to hate Israel. Just like now, he got people hating you, okay? He's behind this. So you don't have to go get mad at other people because guess what? They're following instructions. You don't want to have a problem following instructions. We don't want to have a problem with everybody else doing their job, busting your head every time you cut to the left or to the right. They ain't got no problem doing it. Go ahead and read.
He sent Moses, his servant, and Aaron, whom he had chosen.
Yes, okay, so look, he sent Moses, he sent Aaron to spring the people out. Skip down to verse 36 and continue.
He smote also all the firstborn in their land,
yes,
the chief of all their strength. He brought them forth also with silver and gold, and there was not one feeble person among their tribes.
Go ahead.
Egypt was glad when they departed, for the fear of them fell upon them.
So now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 8. So it says here that the Lord smote the firstborn of Egypt. We can read all of that. He brought them out of Egypt with gold and silver and other stuff. And then the people of Egypt was glad when Israel left. And I'm telling y'all now, in some of them neighborhoods, they be glad when we leave them too. I'm telling y'all, I have seen communities that at one point thriving, nice, clean. Israel go in there, that's us. 7 years later, the place destroyed. We move out, somebody else move in, the place gets beautified again.
Just like that.
I've seen neighborhoods that happen just like that. Okay? The people be glad when you leave. So we can get all these 350 engine blocks out the driveway. Okay? You can get them cars that ain't ran in 5 years from outside of your house. Finally, the grass can get cut. And then they can get some new roofing shingles on top of the house because the ones you had on there look like some curling lotion got put on. Okay? So now, Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 11. Deuteronomy 8 and 11. Go ahead and read.
Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God, in not keeping his commandments.
That's right.
And his judgments and his statutes.
See, the first thing he says here, don't forget your God. Don't do it. Don't do that. Go ahead and read.
Which I command thee this day.
Yes.
Lest when thou hast eaten and art full,
Mhm.
and hast built goodly houses,
Yes.
and dwelt therein.
Uh-huh.
And when thy herds and thy flocks multiply,
Mm-hmm.
and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied,
Mm-hmm.
and all that thou hast is multiplied,
Go ahead.
then thy heart be lifted up,
Mm-hmm.
and thou forget the Lord thy
See,
God.
hold on. See, the equivalent to all that today, to your flocks multiplying, your silver and your gold multiplying, and you full and you got goodly houses, that's the person with the 6-figure job, money in the bank, everything's nice and comfy, and then can't nobody tell you anything. Because you say, well, hey, clearly I'm blessed by God.
Right, clearly.
6-bedroom, 8-bathroom mansion.
Come on.
Huh? Clearly the Lord is blessing me. Not necessarily, sir. But see, the Lord is telling you, don't get full and forget about me. Because people do that. Go ahead and read.
Which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt,
Yes.
from the house of bondage.
Go ahead.
Who led thee through the great and terrible wilderness,
Mm-hmm.
wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought,
Yes.
where there was no water,
Mm-hmm.
who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint.
So the Lord is asking a question like he's telling you, I'm the one that did this for you. When you was thirsty, I brought water out of a rock for you. I led you through this wilderness of scorpions and a drought, okay? Go ahead and read.
Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna,
Yes.
which thy fathers knew not,
Uh-huh.
that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee to do thee good at thy later end.
At that latter end.
Latter end.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And thou say in thy heart, my power and my might of my hand have gotten me this wealth.
And then that's what you'll start saying, because people say that today. If they don't say it, they feel that way. Hey, my hand and my might got me this wealth. That's what they say. That's why it's hard to talk to them. You know somebody that they running up in these spots on Sundays and everything is good with them. It's hard to bring them over here. It's easy to go catch a dude down the street who ain't got no shoes on.
Yeah,
He'd be willing to listen to you. But the brother that's fat and full, hey man, I'm straight. I'm straight. Yeah, you straight for now. Because we've seen people, they were straight today, and 12 hours later, nothing was straight. The rug got snatched from under them just like that. Pow. I've seen it. Go ahead and read.
But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God,
Mm-hmm.
for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth,
Yes, sir.
that he may establish his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day.
Yes, sir. So now let's go into the Psalm, the 78th Psalm. The Lord is letting you know, hey, he was the one that got you all of that stuff. You didn't do that for yourself. So do not forget about him. Remember him whether things are good, somewhere in the middle, or just bad. You better still remember your God. And I keep on saying it, the playbook never changes. Playbook is the same. I don't care what's going on. The playbook is always the same. You still have to remember your God and do what he told you to do. The 78th Psalm, brothers and sisters, the title of today's lesson is Lamentations, past and present. And we starting off looking at the past, but we're going to bring it up to today. Just be patient with us. Verse 5, my brother, go ahead and read it.
For he established a testimony in Jacob,
Mm-hmm.
and appointed a law in Israel,
Yes,
which he commanded our fathers that they should make known to their children.
that's right. See, he commanded our forefathers to make known these laws and statutes and judgments to our children so we won't forget them. Then they can pass them to their children. Go ahead and read.
That the generation to come might know them.
Yes.
Even the children which should be born,
Mm-hmm.
who should arise and declare them to their children.
Go ahead.
That they might set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments.
Yes, sir. See, and the whole thing about it is they'll set their hope in God and not in themselves. Okay. Skip down to verse 9 and continue.
The children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle.
Mm-hmm.
They kept not the covenant of God and refused to walk in his law.
Uh-oh. That means trouble then, doesn't it? Go ahead and read.
And forgate his works and his wonders that he had showed them.
Go ahead.
Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers in the land of Egypt in the field of Zone.
Yes.
He divided the sea and caused them to pass through.
Yes.
And he made the waters to stand up as a heap.
Look here, they said they forgot his works, and he did wonders and showed it to them right in front of their faces, right? So he did these marvelous things when he brought them out of Egypt in the field of Zoan, and he divided the sea and let them pass right through it on a dry floor with a water wall to the right and a wall to the left, okay? And they passed right on through it. And that day should have been etched in their mind until they went to their graves, okay? Right. This is the God I'm dealing with, okay? So I should not play around with him. Skip down, my brother, to verse 16 and continue.
He brought streams also out of the rock and caused waters to run down like rivers.
Yes.
And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness.
And then here we see they provoked him. They provoked him to what, y'all? Anger. They provoked him to anger. Go ahead and read.
And they tempted God in their heart by asking meat for their lust.
Yes.
Yeah. They spake against God. They said, can God furnish a table in the wilderness? Behold, he smote the rock that the waters gushed out.
Yes.
And the streams overflowed. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people? Therefore, the Lord heard this and was wroth.
Yes.
So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel.
Okay, so now we see that God, he heard it, he was wroth, and a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger against Israel. So what y'all think happened when the Lord get mad with you? You think he gonna come down and give you a massage? No. Go ahead and read.
Because they believed not in God and trusted not in his salvation.
And that's a problem. So now let's go to Amos chapter 5. Amos 5, that's a problem. When God mad at you, you should be tired of him being mad with you.
Right.
You should be. But the word enough is always key sometimes. You know, are you scared enough? Are you tired enough? Because some of us like getting punishment. We love punishment. But when you get tired and get tired enough, then you'll line things up. Amos 5, let's pick it up at verse 1. 5 and 1, my brother. Go ahead and read it.
Hear ye this word, which I take up against you, even a lamentation, O house of Israel.
Y'all see the Lord say that? He said, even a lamentation. Go ahead and read.
The virgin of Israel is fallen. She shall no more rise. She is forsaken upon her land. There is none to raise her up.
See, when the Lord get mad at you, who gonna come help you out?
Nobody.
Y'all know somebody that can help you when the Lord is upset with you?
Nope.
That person don't exist. Go ahead and read.
For thus saith the Lord God, the city that went out by 1,000 shall leave 100.
Yes.
And that which went forth by 100 shall leave 10 to the house of Israel.
Skip down to 6 and continue.
Seek the Lord,
yes,
and ye shall live, lest he break out like fire in the house of Joseph and devour it, and there be none to quench it in Bethel.
See, look, the Lord is giving you another warning and another chance. He said, seek the Lord so you can live. Because he's already declared some punishment on you. So now he's telling you, turn back to him, and then I'll take my foot off your neck and let you breathe. Okay? But skip down to verse 14 and continue.
Seek God.
Seek good.
Good and not evil.
That's right. So that's the whole thing. The Lord wants you to seek good and do good and not evil. Go ahead and read.
That ye may live.
Yes.
And so the Lord, the God of hosts, shall be with you as ye have spoken.
Go ahead.
Hate the evil and love the good and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that the Lord God of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph.
See, now let's go into Lamentations chapter 1. See, in that verse 15, he said that it may be that the Lord God of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant. He's giving you another chance even today. If you breathe in the day, you got another shot.
Right.
Because once you go to the grave, it's over. Your resume is complete, your folder's done, your file is done, and that's what the Lord gonna look at when he bring you to that white throne judgment if you missed that first resurrection. Once you dead, your folder's done. Lamentations chapter 1, and we're going to start at verse 1. As I said, Jeremiah was lamenting about what he saw because he warned the people. And then they dropped all kind of punishment and drum on him just for warning them that, hey, man, if y'all don't get it together, the Lord is going to send Nebuchadnezzar down here and they're going to set this place on fire and drag y'all away into servitude and slavery. And we've been in slavery in so many captivities, I don't think we can count them all. Lamentations 1:1, my brother. Go ahead and read it.
How does the city sit solitary that was full of people? How has she become a widow? She that was great among the nations and princes among the provinces, how is she become tributary?
Go ahead.
She weepeth sore in the night, and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she have seen none to comfort her.
Look at you had all these friends who introduced you to all they false gods, but they couldn't help you when the Lord brought that drum on you. Okay, go ahead and read.
All her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies. Judah is gone into captivity because of affliction, and because of great servitude, she dwelleth among the heathen.
So look, so we got scattered among the nations, and we got kicked out of Jerusalem, the last of us that was left, because 9 other tribes got taken out hundreds of years before the last of us got taken out of Jerusalem. Go ahead and read.
She findeth no rest.
Right.
All her persecutors overtook her between the straits.
Yes.
The ways of Zion do mourn, because none come to the solemn feast. All her gates are desolate. Her priests sigh. Her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness.
Yes, sir.
Her adversaries are the chief. Her enemies prosper. For the Lord have afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions.
Do y'all see this? All your adversaries prosper. Everybody else on this planet prosper except you. And don't come tell me about Oprah and Michael Jordan and LeBron. You just name a handful of people. But as a nation, hey, I look at other nations. Hey, these people, we was watching, me and my wife watching the show the other day on HGTV, and the lady wanted to buy this house that Diane Keaton used to own down in LA, in the LA area. And the realtor say, well, it's on the market for $16 million. And she said, well, I'll do a cash deal on it. We were like, man, people, y'all see what I'm saying? Everybody else making moves. But Israel, hey, we trying to make it to the next payday.
Fact.
Y'all hear me? I mean, the hole in your money bag, and the hole is in your money bag. Why? Because you won't go back home to your God. You want everybody else's God. And everybody, and just look up tomorrow, go in the neighborhood, anywhere we live, and see how them churches gonna be packed tomorrow. And the people gonna walk out of there empty-handed. They ain't getting nothing but a humming preacher, a singing preacher with sugar-coated words for them.
Right.
We don't have sugar in here. We have sugar in here?
No.
We ain't got no sugar in here. We gonna give you this word straight and uncut.
Right.
No sugar, no chasing.
No chasing.
What verse was that, brother?
We're in the middle of 5.
Go ahead and read.
Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy.
Your children went into captivity before the enemy. Go ahead.
And from the daughter of Zion, all her beauty is departed.
Yes.
Her princes are become like harts that find no pasture.
Go ahead.
And they are gone without strength before the pursuer.
Go ahead.
Jerusalem, remember in the days of her affliction and of her miseries, all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old.
Go ahead.
When her people fell into the hand of the enemy, and none did help her.
Who's trying to help you right now? Ain't nobody trying to help you, Israel. Go ahead and read.
The adversary saw her and did mock at her Sabbath.
Go ahead.
Jerusalem have grievously sinned.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, she is removed.
See, the Lord, and we're going to see later on, the Lord say Israel's sin was worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. Why? Is because what makes your sin so bad is you were the only people that he gave the word to.
Right.
It was your job to give it to everybody else. That's what makes it so bad for you. You had the words of salvation, the words of life. You were supposed to give it to everybody else, and then you threw it in the garbage can. Now don't nobody have it because they can't get it unless you give it to them. So the Lord is mad at you because you got yourself in trouble and you got the rest of the planet in trouble.
That's right.
You did this, Israel. Go ahead and read.
All that honoreth her despised her.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have seen her nakedness.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. She sigheth and turneth back.
And you did turn backwards, Israel. Skip down, my brother, to verse 17 and continue.
Zion spreadeth forth her hands,
Mm-hmm.
and there is none to comfort her.
Go ahead.
The Lord have commanded concerning Jacob that his adversary should be round about him.
Wait a minute. Who commanded the adversaries of Israel?
The Lord.
The Lord did this here. He got them people going upside your head and hating you. You can drive somewhere right now and walk in a place, person's first time meeting you, first time seeing you, and they hate you. Well, they doing their job. You just won't do yours.
Right.
Go ahead and read.
Jerusalem is as a menstruous woman among them.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
The Lord is righteous.
He is. Go ahead.
For I have rebelled against his commandment.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I pray you, all people,
Mm-hmm.
and behold my sorrow.
Yes.
My virgins and my young men are gone into captivity.
So look. So now let's go into Jeremiah chapter 52, because Jeremiah wrote these Lamentations. He witnessed that thing firsthand. He was there. He saw it happen. He saw the last king Israel had sitting on the throne. He knew about the man getting his eyes cut out right after the king of Babylon killed his sons. The last thing he saw was the sons getting killed, and then they carved his eyes right out of his head. I mean, and it goes on. Even over here in this country, they used to feed your babies to the alligators. They went gator hunting with your babies, the slaves' children. You a commodity to these people. Even still right now, you a commodity. You a commodity right now, 2023. And everything they want to do evil, they going to run it by you so you can okay it. Every time I see a man looking like a woman on TV, he got brown skin. Because if you do it, then they say, okay, well, it's good then.
Right.
Israel leading the charge on wickedness. And the book say, you taught the wicked ones their ways.
My Lord.
So get mad at yourself when somebody handling you the wrong way. Because we lead the charge on wickedness. Jeremiah 52, verse 1. Brother, go ahead and read it.
Zedekiah was 120 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother's name was Hamoth, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah.
Go ahead.
And he did that which was evil in the eyes of the Lord, according to all that Jehoiakim had done.
Go ahead.
For through the anger of the Lord, it came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah, till he had cast them out from his presence, that Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his army, against Jerusalem, and pitched against it, and built forts against it round about.
So now Jeremiah was warning them that this was going to happen. And every time he would come and warn them, they had an issue with him. And you go to Jeremiah the 20th chapter, they slapped him up, locked him in stocks in front of the church, made fun of him, went back to Zedekiah again, said, hey man, this Jeremiah, man, he's speaking these words against this city and against our military. Can we lay our hands on him? Can we kill him? And Zedekiah said, he is in your hands. Do what you will. They dropped the brother down in a little sewery dungeon. Y'all hear what I'm saying? He witnessed all, and all he was trying to tell him, if y'all get back right with God, he won't send Nebuchadnezzar here. But they didn't listen. So here comes Nebuchadnezzar. We just read in Lamentations that the Lord commanded those adversaries. Didn't we read that?
Yes, sir.
So here he comes. He's obeying God. He coming and knock you off. Go ahead and read.
So the city was besieged until the 11th year of King Zedekiah.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 4th month, in the 9th day of the month, the famine was so sore in the city,
Yes.
so that there was no bread for the people of the land.
Go ahead.
Then the city was broken up.
You know what? That's good. Skip down to verse 13 and continue. Verse 13, what that say, brother?
And burned the house of the Lord,
Yes.
and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem, and all the houses of the great men burned with the fire.
So look, this man came in the city and burned down everything in the city. Just burned it down. Y'all ever heard of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma? We're going to read a little something about that too. Hey, the thing is the same. It don't change, Israel. Just because you ran from the Lord and you out of Israel, wherever you at, that gray cloud just follow you everywhere you go.
My Lord.
It just, what? Here it is. The cloud's still there. The people still hate you because you're still serving a false God. You won't come home. What verse was that, brother?
We're starting 14.
Go ahead.
And all the army of the Chaldeans that were with the captain of the guard break down all the walls of Jerusalem round about.
I mean, tore them down. Skip down to verse 28 and continue.
This is the people whom Nebuchadnezzar carried away captive in the 7th year, 3,000 Jews and 23.
Go ahead.
In the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar, he carried away captive from Jerusalem 832 persons.
Every time he felt like coming to get some more slaves, he just came right on down there and got you. Go ahead and read.
In the 23rd year of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive of the Jews 745 persons. All the persons were 4,600.
And you know, with us, the way we multiply and make, baby, you take 4,000 of us, you look up 2 years later, it's 8,000. That's just how we do it, okay? So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 32. Deuteronomy 32, because we read earlier, the Lord said, do not forget about him. He gave us that fair warning. Don't get fat and forget about me. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what we did. We got fat and we forgot. Deuteronomy chapter 32. This is Lamentations, past and present, and we're looking at the past right now. Deuteronomy 32. Let's pick it up at verse 9, my brother. 32 and verse 9. I hope y'all taking some good notes out here, brothers and sisters. You might have to pull this stuff back up tomorrow. 32 and 9. Go ahead and read it.
For the Lord's portion is his people.
Yes.
God, Jacob, is the lot of his inheritance.
Go ahead.
He found him in a desert land, and in the waste howling wilderness, he led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye.
So we see this historical fact here. Skip down to verse 12 and continue.
So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him.
Go ahead.
He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the field. And he made him to suck honey off the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock.
Go ahead.
Butter of kine and milk of the sheep, with fat of lambs and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats, with the fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape.
Y'all see that the Lord is just reminding Israel that he set you up in the best land on the earth, in the land of Israel. But go ahead and read. Let's see what happened, though. Go ahead.
But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxing fat. Thou art grown thick. Thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation.
So we see the problem right there. So Jacob forgot about his God. Go ahead and read.
They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods.
Go ahead.
With abominations provoked they him to anger.
Go ahead.
They sacrifice unto devils, not to God.
That's right.
To gods whom they knew not. To new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not.
Moses didn't know nothing about this Scientology God.
Not nothing.
Jacob didn't know nothing about this Jehovah Witness thing they doing with the watchtower little folders. Okay? Our ancestors didn't know nothing about this God they sharing you with today. Didn't know nothing about him. But every time a new God come up, we latch right on to it.
Yes, sir.
We could walk out of here tomorrow and start a religion called Calvin Klein in Israel and latch on to it. We'll look up and you'll have a church full of people. Oh yeah, man, I go to that old Calvin Klein church over there, man. We will do that, and we just won't do the true and living God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Just won't do it. Go ahead and read, brother.
Of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful.
Go ahead.
And has forgotten God that formed thee.
And that's the problem. Go ahead and read.
And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them.
He abhorred them. That means he hated you. We see that he got mad. Now we see that he hates you. Now, when he hates you, he deal with you through other people. He let the other people come put their hands on you because he's a spirit being. So he gonna have some flesh and blood people come and deal with you.
Yes, Lord.
Everybody else on the planet been dealing with you too, just like that. From Ham to Ishmael to the Gentiles to whoever it is. Everybody, you can go in there. We gonna read today in Psalm 83. Moab, Edom, everybody, Ammon, everybody done put their hands on you. And then sold you, got servitude out you, done raped your woman, done borrowed your wife, whatever it is. Everybody, because you refuse to do what the Lord told you to do.
Yes, Lord.
What verse was that, brother?
We're in the middle of 19.
Let's speed up a little bit because we got a lot of stuff to read. Go ahead and read it.
Because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters.
Go ahead.
And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be.
Do you want the Lord hiding his face from you?
No.
Go ahead and read.
For they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith.
That's right. Go ahead.
They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities.
Yes.
And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not of people.
See, it ain't a people. He gonna move you to jealousy with all people. Everybody pulling up to the light in a Bentley and next to your 1983 Buick Century. That's burgundy with a gray hood and a green door. Everybody's pulling up on you and you jealous of them because the Lord is doing this to you. Because you won't come to him.
Right.
Go ahead and read, brother.
I will provoke them to anger with the foolish nation.
Yes, sir. Skip down, my brother, to verse 23 and continue.
I will heap mischiefs upon them.
Yes.
I will spend my arrows upon them.
He gonna spend what on you?
Arrows.
Y'all see that, brothers and sisters? The Lord is gonna be firing his arrows at you, nobody else, you. But if you want them arrows to go around you, then you yourself, for you and your household, serve your God, obey him, do what he wants you to do, and he'll let you breathe. But as for the whole nation, it ain't happening. My Lord. It's one household at a time.
Yes.
But as far as this nation, we are just too stiff-necked to do it. It ain't happening. So all these people, I've been hearing it all my life. I'm gonna be 56 next month. I've been here. We need to come together. Man, that ain't happening.
Right.
We need to come together as a community. When? How? We hate each other, and everybody else hate us. So what we gonna do?
Facts.
It ain't happening. These cats wasting their time. And in fact, you getting in God's way. And everybody that I've seen get in his way, trying to bring us together, he have them knocked off. Hasn't he?
Yes, sir. Quickly.
He knocked all of them off. Because he passed judgment on Israel, and then he dropped a sentence on you, and you gonna serve that sentence. So somebody trying to get you, what's the word they use? Paroled, or get your sentence annulled, he gonna knock them off. How you gonna annul what the Lord set in place? He dropped this judgment on us. The only way you're gonna get some annulling is for you in your own house. That means you keep that Sabbath day.
Right.
You keep them commandments. You observe that dietary law and you keep them feast days.
Yes, sir.
And I said last night on the show, the feast day schedule is out right now.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna see you with your pictures from Cancun. You down there 5, 6, 7 days.
Yeah.
But then you tell me, you send me a text message. I had to work on the feast day, huh? You couldn't get that off, but you down in Cancun though. Man, hey man, that's between you and God. If you got to work on that day, that's between you and the Lord. Don't tell me nothing. I'm gonna be here. Ain't no job gonna have me doing that. Huh?
Facts.
What verse was that, brother?
We're starting 24.
Go ahead and read it.
They shall be burnt with hunger and devoured with burning heat.
You see that? Go ahead.
And with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts among them, with the poisons of serpents of the dust.
Go ahead.
The sword without, the terror within, shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling, also with the man of gray hairs.
Go ahead.
I said, I would scatter them into corners. I would make them. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men.
So the Lord is doing the talking here. Let's go to the 83rd Psalm. I just mentioned that. Let's go hit Psalm 83. Because the Lord said right here in verse 26, he said, I said, I'm going to scatter them in corners, and I'm going to make the remembrance of them to cease from among man. So there ain't nobody calling you Israel. You know what they call you? Black. I don't see one black person. Everybody's skin in there brown. They ain't even got the color right. Huh? Who in there is black? This is black. I'm not that. You a byword and a proverb. You've been called Negroes. Right. You've been called colored, spooks, right. African Americans, coon, Afro Americans, jigaboo. Ain't nobody calling you Israel though. Ain't nobody calling you your real name. They calling you everything. Vice grip, pee-wee, dollar bill. Nobody, the Lord said, I'm gonna make your name disappear from the memory of man. And even the people that's calling themselves you, they don't even say the word Israel or Israelite. Right. They say Israelis.
Right.
That ain't even in the book. We seen the word Israeli in here? Because they not the people. You the people of this Bible. And your ancestors wrote the words in this Bible. And if you want to do yourself a favor and your children, you better line your life up with the words in this book, brothers and sisters. You better do it. 83rd Psalm, verse 1, my brother. Go ahead and read it.
Keep not thou silent, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God.
Go ahead.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Go ahead.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Yes.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Do y'all see that? But the Lord said, I'm going to cause that to happen. But then the people came together and said, let's do this. Let's make the name of Israel be no more in remembrance and cut them off from being a nation. Go ahead and read.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Go ahead.
The tabernacles of Edom.
Yes.
The Ishmaelites of Moab. And the Hargarians.
He said, look, so we got Edom, we got the Ishmaelites, and then out of Moab, you got the Hagarenes. Go ahead.
Hagarenes. Jabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Go ahead.
Ashur also is joined with them. They have opened the children of Lot. Salah.
See that? The children of Lot is Ammon and Moab. But everybody that gathered together. We just saw some Hamites right here. We see some Ishmaelites right here. We see Edom. Everybody who was a neighbor of Israel said, let's get them out of here. And you know what? They sat back, and as you dealt with them false gods, and then the Philistines would even send their women in there to get you to serve them false gods. Because the brother was just that weak. Okay? Still to this day like that. You want to get them off the square, send the sister to get them. she can knock them off just like that. Pow. So now, let's go back into Lamentations. You should put a marker there because we're going to go in Lamentations a few more times today. Lamentations chapter 2, because the Lord said in Deuteronomy, he that won't spend his arrows on you, Israel. He's going to cut a hole in your money bag, among other things. Okay? Lamentations chapter 2. Let's start at verse 1. Lamentations 2 and 1. You should leave your mark in Lamentations because we're coming back to it quite a few more times. Because as this lesson is titled, Lamentations, Past and Present. Lament for Israel for then, and you can go and do some lamenting today. You want to lament? Go home, turn on your news. Just turn on the news.
Yeah.
And we got some statistics for y'all in case you were unaware of what's going on with us even right now in what they call 2023. Lamentations 2 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
How have the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with the cloud in his anger?
Y'all see that? He letting you know, hey, that cloud of his anger is following you. That's why the folks don't want you in their neighborhood. I don't get mad when they don't want us living among them because I know how Israel is going to do when they get in there. Not that I'm going to do like our people, but I know what our people are capable of because I've lived around our people
Right.
the majority of my life. But I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to be honest, I try to have some diversity around me.
Right.
It's just all that simple. Because if Israel don't want around you, you better not leave that car unlocked.
Yeah.
You better not leave that car unlocked, Israel. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I was up here yesterday. And when I left after the show last night, I walked outside and there was some stuff out there on the flower bed. And I went looking because it would look like something belonged to somebody. So I walked next door to see if that lady out there belonged to her. It wasn't her. So I grabbed all that stuff and walked down to that garbage can almost at the corner. And I put it in that garbage can and got in my car and went home. Later on last night, about 10 something, I said, I forgot to turn the alarm on. Let me turn the alarm on from my phone. And the thing say front door open. So I had to come back down there at 10 something last night. And the door was just not even closed all the way and definitely unlocked. So I had to come walk through the building and come back out and then lock it and then set the alarm. But had we been somewhere where it's just us, somebody would have just happened to walk by and just check the door. You know what I'm saying? Just walk by and just check it. Oh, it's open. Cameras, speakers, whatever. Huh? Yeah, we be empty. Okay? Because Israel just walked through the hood just checking car doors. I've seen them. I had a coworker, her son did that. That's what he did. He just walked checking car doors. And you know what he was looking for? Guns. And he found many. He had a gun operation just by going in people's unlocked car doors. Anyway, Lamentations. What verse we at, brother?
We're in the middle of one.
Go ahead and read it.
And cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel.
Yes.
And remember not his footstool in the day of his anger.
Uh-huh.
The Lord have swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob and have not pity.
He have not what?
Pity.
No pity?
Not pity.
Go ahead and read.
He have thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He have brought them down to the ground. He have polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof.
Go ahead.
He have cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel. He have drawn back his right hand from before the enemy, and he burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devoureth round about.
Do y'all see that? Say the Lord burned against Jacob. Go ahead and read.
He have bent his bow like an enemy.
Wait a minute. Y'all know what bend your bow mean, right? That means you pulling back on that bow. But we ready to do the run. He gonna spin his arrows on us. Then in Lamentations said he bent his bow like he was an enemy of ours. Go ahead and read.
He stood with his right hand as an adversary and slew all that were pleasant to the eye in the tabernacle of the daughter of Zion.
Yes.
He poured out his fury like fire.
Go ahead.
The Lord was an enemy. He have swallowed up Israel. He have swallowed up all her palaces.
Wait a minute, he burned down the palaces too? Go ahead and read.
He have destroyed his strongholds. He have increased in the daughter of Judah mourning and lamentation.
He have increased mourning and he increased lamentations, and he's still doing it right now because this people just won't come back to him. So look, let's go into Jeremiah chapter 17. Jeremiah 17, then we coming right back to Lamentations 2 after this. Jeremiah 17. Right now, we looking at Lamentations past. We're going to get to the present. Just bear with us. We're going to try to pick up the pace a little bit. Jeremiah 17, verse 21. 17 and 21. Go ahead and read it.
Thus saith the Lord, take heed to yourselves, and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem. Neither carry forth a burden out of your house on the Sabbath day. Neither do ye any work, but hallow ye the Sabbath day, as I commanded your fathers. But they obeyed not, neither inclined their ear, but made their neck stiff, that they might not hear nor receive instruction.
See, the Lord is telling you don't bear burden on the Sabbath day. Back then, and we didn't do it then, and we still won't do it right now. Skip down and read verse 27.
But if ye will not hearken unto me to hallow the Sabbath day, and not to bear a burden, even entering into at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then will I kindle a fire in the gates thereof, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched.
And we read in Lamentations that he burned down the palaces, and that's part of the problem. So look, let's go back to Lamentations chapter 2 and pick it up at verse 6. Lamentations 2 and 6. See, the Lord was dead serious about this, but even right now, we still play. We want to go skating on the Sabbath. We want to party. We want to go to work. We want to go to the birthday celebrations, to the we want to what they call it, tailgate at the games. We want to do everything on the Sabbath day. And coming and having a holy convocation has to be based on if it's convenient or not for you. Huh?
Right.
Stop me when I tell a lie now. This got to be convenient for some people to get here. But when I look at this Bible and I see all these examples of people who were showing commitment under far worse conditions that I'm being subjected to, then why can't I be committed?
Right.
It's easy. You just got to set your mind to it and just do it. Jeremiah 17 and 21. 17 and 21. That's what we had. Are we back in Lamentations too? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we in Lamentations.
I'm caught up in the lesson myself.
It's all good, brother. We got you. 2 and 19.
2 and 6. Lamentations 2 and verse 6.
We read
2 and 6. My apologies, y'all. I got caught up myself. 2 and 6. Go ahead and read it.
And he hath vitally taken away his tabernacle, as if it were of a garden. He hath destroyed his places of the assembly. The Lord have caused the solemn feasts and the Sabbaths to be forgotten in Zion, and have despised in the indignation of his anger the king and the priest.
Go ahead.
The Lord have cast off his altar. He have abhorred his sanctuary. He have given up into the hand of the enemy the walls of her palaces. They have made a noise in the house of the Lord, as in the day of a solemn feast.
Skip down to 9 and continue.
Her gates are sunk into the ground. He have destroyed and broken her bars. Her king and her princes are among the Gentiles. The law is no more. Her prophets also find no vision from the Lord.
The prophets don't have any vision. The law is no more. Why? Because we were the lawgivers, but now we everybody's slave and servant. So now who is going to go out there and teach that word? Okay. But the Lord put his hands on us, and this is what happened. Skip down. Let's read verse 14 and 15. Go ahead.
The prophets have seen vain and the foolish things for thee, and they have not discovered thine iniquity to turn away thy captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment.
So now we see that the men of God are the ones who cause his people to do these things. Go ahead and read.
All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughters of Jerusalem, saying, Is this the city that the men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth?
It used to be at one time. Can y'all imagine that? That's what Jerusalem was at one time. And all those beautiful places that Solomon built with all that gold. I'm talking what is equivalent today, billions of dollars worth of gold and silver. 49 billion, according to the research I did. Y'all remember that lesson when we were kings?
Yes, sir.
Billions of dollars worth. That was a magnificent place. Then they got fat and happy and they turned away from God. Okay. So now let's go back. Let's go to Matthew chapter 15. And let's look at something Jesus said right here. Matthew 15, let's pick it up at verse 12. Matthew 15 and 12. And even in this day, it was nothing new. It was just a continuing theme with our ancestors, with our people. It was a continuing theme. Matthew 15, and let's start at verse 12. Matthew chapter 15, let's pick it up at 12. Go ahead and read it.
Then came his disciples and said unto him, knowest thou that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying?
Go ahead.
But he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father have not planted shall be rooted up.
I know that's right. Go ahead.
Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch.
And the same applies today. It was going on in Jesus' day. It was going on in Jeremiah's day. You had the blind leading the blind. And when the blind is leading the blind, you have nothing but destruction coming. You're going to fall in the ditch. They're going to have all these blind preachers tomorrow. And a brother sent me a video of a brother who's a Sunday preacher tomorrow. And I suffered through 15 minutes of the video. Then I called him. I said, man, this brother is a joke. It's like he's teaching some 4-year-olds. But he got a flock of people in the church sitting in front of him and telling them that the most important thing about the fast is your belly, is your stomach. That's what he told these people. Fasting is uphill, brothers and sisters.
Yes.
This is where it is. But this man saying king's stomach is the issue with when you're dealing with a fast. Do y'all hear me? You got people like that standing in a pulpit and people listening to them and delighting in them and feeling like they're being led in some truth. Unbelievable. So now Jesus said when the blind lead the blind, that's what's going to happen. So it's the priests that got Israel in this trouble. Let's go hit Ezekiel 22. I can't wait till we start getting to these statistics I got to y'all. So I'm trying to speed us up because we about an hour, almost an hour in right now. So look, Ezekiel 22, y'all. Let's start at verse 8. Ezekiel 22 and verse 8, my brother. 22 and 8. Go ahead and read it.
Thou hast despised my holy things.
Yes.
And hast profaned my Sabbaths.
Yes, sir. That's part of our problem. Skip down to 25 and continue.
There is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof.
Yes.
Like a roaring lion ravening the prey. They have devoured souls. They have taken the treasure and precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof.
Go ahead.
Her priests have violated my law.
Y'all see that? The priests violated the law. Go ahead.
And have profaned my holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and profane.
Go ahead.
Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean.
Go ahead.
And have hid their eyes from my Sabbaths. And I am profaned among them.
Go ahead.
Her princes in the midst thereof are like wolves, ravening the prey, to shed blood and to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain.
Skip down to 31 and finish it.
Therefore, I have poured out my indignation upon them. I have consumed them with the fire of my wrath. Their own way I have recompensed among their heads, saith the Lord God. He
said, I have recompensed upon their heads, said the Lord, their own ways. So what Israel is getting is they are reaping what they sowed, okay? So now, let's go back into Lamentations chapter 2. Chapter 2. Because the Lord said he didn't have no pity. and he ain't gonna have no pity.
None.
The only way you gonna get some pity out of the Lord is you start serving and obeying him. That's it.
Amen.
Lamentations 2:19. Go ahead and read it.
Arise, cry out in the night.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning of the watches, pour out thy heart like water before the face of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Lift up thine hands toward him for the life of the young children that faint for hunger in the top of every street.
So now the children was faint for hunger. Go ahead.
Behold, O Lord, and consider to whom thou hast done this.
Mm-hmm.
Shall a woman eat their fruit,
Mm-hmm.
and children of a span long?
Y'all see that? He asking a question. Is a woman gonna eat her own children? See how hungry she get. Go ahead and read.
Shall the priest and the prophet be slain in the sanctuary of the Lord?
Mm-hmm.
The young and the old lie on the ground in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
My virgins and my young men are fallen by the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Thou hast slain them in the day of thine anger. Thou hast killed and not pitied.
That is right. So now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, because when Jeremiah witnessed Nebuchadnezzar come and do that thing to Jerusalem, the people didn't have no food. And then later on in 70 AD, when the Romans came, they compassed the city and the people couldn't get food into the city. So they was dying of starvation then. So now, Deuteronomy 28, let's start at verse 49. This whole chapter right here will tell you about all them curses that the Lord threatened Israel with, that if they didn't do what was right, he was going to do to them. And you can see just about every one of them right now today.
Mm-hmm.
It will let you know that our people didn't do what they were supposed to do. But let's start at verse 49, brother, and let's pick up the pace a little bit. 49, 32 and 49. Go ahead and read it.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
Wait a minute, 32 and 49.
32. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You right. 28 and 49. I'm sorry, y'all. I said 32, but it's 28. Deuteronomy 28. Sorry, my brother. And verse 49. Go ahead and read.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far,
Mm-hmm.
from the end of the earth,
Yeah.
as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation.
Hold on. Wait. Brother, no, can you go out there and tell whoever's on our roof working to stop it, please? Thank you. Go ahead and read.
As
Start
swift,
that verse over 49.
Okay. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far,
Mm-hmm.
from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Go ahead.
A nation of fierce countenance,
Mm-hmm.
which shall not regard the person of the old,
Yes.
nor show favor to the young.
Go ahead.
And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the
Mm-hmm.
fruit of thy land,
Yes.
until thou be destroyed.
That nation of fierce countenance that's going to come against you, they're going to benefit off everything you have. Go ahead.
Which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil,
Mm-hmm.
or the increase of thine kind,
Mm-hmm.
or flocks of thy sheep,
Mm-hmm.
until he have destroyed thee.
Go ahead.
And he have besieged thee in all thy
He
gates,
shall besiege thee.
until thy high and fenced walls come down,
Mm-hmm.
wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the
Mm-hmm.
Lord thy God hath given thee.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body.
Do y'all see this, brothers and sisters? We read the question in Lamentations, shall a mother eat her baby? And then we see, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body. Go ahead and read.
The flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters,
Mm-hmm.
which the Lord thy God hath given thee
Mm-hmm.
in the siege,
Yes.
and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee.
Y'all see that? Go ahead and read.
So that the man that is tender among you
Mm-hmm.
and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother,
Yes.
and toward the wife of his bosom,
Mm-hmm.
and toward the remnant of his children,
Yes.
which he shall leave.
Do y'all see that? Who leave their babies? We do. We leave our babies. Who hate their own brothers? We do. Then it says, and even toward the wife of your bosom. Go ahead and read.
So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat,
Go ahead.
because he have nothing left him in the siege,
Mm-hmm.
and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates.
Go ahead.
The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not have ventured to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness,
Mm-hmm.
her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom,
Mm-hmm.
and toward her son, and toward her daughter.
Do y'all see all this stuff the Lord said he's going to drop on Israel? We see it even today. Go ahead and read.
And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet,
Mm-hmm.
and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates.
Go ahead. Excuse me, brother. Can you help him make sure they stop doing what they doing up there, please? Thank you. So now we see that. Let's go to Lamentations 4, and then after that, we're going to hit this Atlas of the Bible, a history book. Lamentations chapter 4, and let's pick it up at verse 1. Lamentations 4 and verse 1. Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 1. 4 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
How is the gold become dim?
Mm-hmm.
How is the most fine gold changed?
Yes.
The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street.
Go ahead.
The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold, how are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter? Even the sea monsters draw out the breast.
Yes.
They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people is become cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness. The tongue of the sucking child cleave to the roof of his mother for thirst.
The roof of his mouth.
Mouth for thirst. The young children ask bread, and no man breaketh it unto them.
See, look, to the young children hungry, everybody's hungry. Go ahead and read.
They that did feed delicately are desolate in the streets. They that are brought up in scarlet embrace dunghills.
Go ahead.
For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughters of my people is great, greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom, that were overthrown as in a moment, and no hand stayed on her. So
look, let's go to the Atlas of the Bible and let's look at a little history. We're going to read some from page 201 and page 202, and then in the revolts against Rome. So we just move forward to 70 AD. This was another time after what Jeremiah witnessed that he wrote down in Lamentations. This was what we're about to read about. Israel came back and rebuilt Jerusalem up again, and he is getting ready to get torn down again. Why? Because they keep doing the same thing over and over. Go ahead and read that, brother.
In 68, the Roman commander launched a methodical campaign to isolate Jerusalem. The district of Piri, east of the Jordan, was conquered. In the west, Emas was taken, and a legion garrison there entered the Jordan Valley from the north through Kori. Roman columns took Jericho, where a second garrison was stationed. Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, various Jewish factors began fighting among themselves for control of the rebellion.
So look, let's skip to the next page, 202, and let's see what happens right here.
Titus turned to starvation tactics. A certain amount of food had been smuggled into the city almost nightly during the siege. But now the Romans sealed off Jerusalem completely with a wall of their own, made of earth, and some 5 miles in circumference. From the outset of the siege, those attempting to get through the encircling lines had been caught and crucified.
Okay, go ahead.
Sometimes the daily executions reached 500.
Do y'all see that? So look, sometimes they would hang 500 people a day on crosses.
My Lord.
Ain't nothing special about the cross. It's a Roman death symbol.
Yes, sir.
It's a Roman death symbol.
Yes, sir.
And there are many other death symbols. How about an electric chair? Why don't you gold plate that and put it on your chain?
Right. A noose. What about a noose?
A noose?
Yeah.
What else they got out here? A pistol? You got that cross on your chain. You got your Jesus piece, as they call it. But they was putting 500 people a day on them crosses, and they were putting people on crosses before they put Jesus on one.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
Ain't nothing holy about that. But as you can see, they went to starvation tactics. That's why we kept reading about the women and their children.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and read.
The crosses were never banned.
But here, let me point this out too. What we're reading about right here is 70 AD. The thing that Jeremiah was writing about, this was in BC.
Right.
This was 700 some odd years before the birth of Christ.
Right.
This right here was almost 100 years after the birth of Christ.
Right. Right.
We're talking two different times, but the same thing is happening over and over again. Go ahead and read.
Inside the city, starvation and disease claimed the mounting toll.
Yes.
Bodies filled the streets and were stacked in houses.
Yes.
Thousands of corpses were thrown from the walls into the valleys below. The surviving rebels made a last-ditch stand within Herod's palace. The battering rams resumed their rhythmic work. When the legionnaires at last broke into this refuge, they found only corpses.
Y'all see that? It keeps happening over and over with us, right? So now, in fact, right now, my brother, yeah, let's go to Jeremiah 23, and then we got one more spot. Then we're going to hit this stuff about what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921 to what they call Black Wall Street. Okay, so let's go Jeremiah 23 and pick it up at verse 11. Jeremiah 23 and verse 11, because Israel keep doing the same thing. You just won't go back to your God. Right. You want to serve everybody else's God and do whatever you want to do. Even today they talking about, well, I'm going to live my truth.
Right.
Just as their reason to live this crazy lifestyle. Okay, you're going to live your truth. Go ahead. Right. If you like fire, do whatever.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Live your truth out. How is it living your truth now means I can do whatever I want to do?
Right.
That's all it is. I'm going to do whatever I want to do with me. You didn't make you, so you can't do what you want to do.
Amen.
Jeremiah 23 and 11. Go ahead and read.
For both prophet and priest are profane.
Yes.
Yeah. In my house I have found their wickedness, saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
Wherefore their way shall be unto them as slippery ways in the darkness.
And slippery in darkness, you in trouble. Go ahead.
They shall be driven on and fall therein. For I will bring evil upon them, even the years of their visitation, saith the Lord.
So remember that the Lord said he's going to bring that evil. Go ahead and read.
And I have seen folly in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesied in Baal and caused my people Israel to err.
He talking about the prophets and the priests, y'all. And it's still today with these preachers. Go ahead and read.
I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem a horrible thing.
Yes.
They commit adultery.
Yes.
And walk in lies.
Yep.
They strengthen also the hands of evildoers.
Yep.
That none doth return from his wicked ways, his wickedness. They are all of them unto me as Sodom, and in the inhabitants thereof as Gomorrah. So
now let's go hit Ezekiel chapter 20. Ezekiel 20 and verse 3. See, the Lord said that the priests and the prophets cause the people to err. They walk in lies and they strengthen the hands of the evildoers. And we see these preachers doing this all the time. Oh, did you want a water, brother? He got one right there. Okay, thank you. So look, Ezekiel 20. See, the preachers strengthen the hand of the evildoers. They look for ways to ask these preachers, well, do y'all allow this in your church? And all the preachers get up there and tap dance. Instead of saying, well, I can just tell you what the book say. I can read the verse out of the Bible to you. Well, what do you think about this? I can read the verse to you. Well, how do y'all feel about this? Well, I can read this book to you. That's all I got for you. I'm going to read this book. If you don't want me reading the book, I'm going to go on.
Right.
That's all I got. Ezekiel 20, verse 3. Go ahead and read it, brother. 20 and 3.
Son of man,
yes,
speak unto the elders of Israel and say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, are ye come to inquire of me?
Yes.
As I live, saith the Lord God, I will not inquire of by you.
I will not be inquired of by you. Okay. So now skip down, my brother, and read verse 7. Go ahead.
Then said I unto them, cast ye away every man the abomination of his eyes, and defile not yourselves with the idols of Egypt. I am the Lord your God.
So the Lord is saying, cast away your abominations and defile not yourselves with these idols of Egypt. Go ahead and read.
But they rebelled against me and would not hearken unto me. They did not every man cast away the abomination of their eyes, neither did they forsake the idols of Egypt. Then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them to accomplish my anger against them in the midst of the land of Egypt.
Do y'all see that? And even today, they still won't throw away the Easter baskets and the Christmas trees. They ain't gonna do it. But you ain't got nothing that's gonna make them put them Christmas trees away.
Nothing.
You ain't got nothing. They just won't do it. Go ahead and read.
But I wrought for my name's sake,
Yes.
that it should not be polluted before the heathen, among whom they were, in whose sight I made myself known unto them.
Yes.
And bringing them forth out of the land of Egypt.
And the Lord keep pointing back to, I made myself known to y'all. I was doing all these great and miraculous things right in your eyesight. One more verse, brother.
Wherefore I caused them to go forth out of the land of Egypt and brought them into the wilderness.
So the Lord did that, right? So look, let's go look at the New York Times.
Hands of a violent white mob. The Tulsa race massacre of 1921 killed hundreds of residents, burned more than 1,250 homes, and erased years of black success. Imagine a community of great possibilities and prosperity built by black people for black people. Places to work, places to live, places to learn and shop and play, places to worship. Now imagine it being ravaged by flames.
Now y'all remember now, he said they even had a place to worship there too. Let's see, was it called the House of Israel or the Mount Nebo Baptist Church? Go ahead and read.
In May 1921, the Tulsa, Oklahoma neighborhood of Greenwood was a fully realized antidote to the racial oppression of the time. Built in the early part of the century in the northern pocket of the city, it was a thriving community of commerce and family life to its roughly 10,000 residents.
Go ahead.
Brick and wood frame homes dotted the landscape, along with blocks lined with grocery stores, hotels, nightclubs, billiard halls, theaters, doctors' offices, and churches.
Go ahead.
Greenwood was so promising, so vibrant, that it became home to what was known as America's Black Wall Street. But what took years to build was erased in less than 24 hours by racial violence.
Do y'all see that? Took years to build it, and they burned it down in less than 24 hours. Just like that. Go ahead and read.
Sending the dead into mass graves and forever altering family trees.
Go ahead.
Hundreds of Greenwood residents were brutally killed, their homes and businesses wiped out. They were casualties of a furious and heavily armed white mob of looters and arsonists.
Go ahead.
One factor that drove the violence, resentment toward the black prosperity found in the block after block after block of Greenwood. The financial toll of the massacre is evident in the 1.8 million in property loss claims, 27 million in today's dollars.
Go ahead.
Detailed in a 2001 State Commission report. For 2 decades, the report has been one of the most comprehensive accounts to reveal the horrific details of the massacre, among the worst racial terror attacks in the nation's history. More than 70 businesses operated in mostly 1, 2, or 3-story red brick buildings clustered among the block. All but a couple were owned by black entrepreneurs.
So it said all them businesses were owned by people of color except 2 of them. Okay, go ahead and read.
In this stretch alone, there were 4 hotels, 2 newspapers, 8 doctors, 7 barbers, 9 restaurants, and a half dozen professional officers of real estate agents, dentists, and lawyers. A cabaret and a cigar shop were on the block too. You could shop for groceries, play pool, take in the theater show, eat dinner, and get your hair styled without ever leaving the block.
Go ahead.
Okay, source, the Oklahoman.
The Oklahoman is a newspaper in Oklahoma. Go ahead and read.
Members of the Mount Zion Baptist Church proudly gathered to dedicate their new building that had been built just 2 months before in the thriving American community known as Black Wall Street.
Now, this is in 1921 now. Go ahead and read.
It was April 1st, 1921. The Reverend H.R. Whittaker
Notice he called himself Reverend. Go ahead and read.
Was ecstatic to officially bless the house of worship that he and his church members had funded through their generous offerings and tithes. 2 months later, the preacher watched in horror as the new structure was burned down during the Tulsa race massacre. The once beautiful church was set ablaze by a white mob that incorrectly insisted that black Tulsans had stockpiled ammunition in the house of worship.
Man, they could have said somebody threw a cherry out the church and hit my car. And they burned it down. Nobody went to jail for this stuff that happened, y'all.
Nobody.
Do y'all hear what I'm saying?
No.
Not a soul went to jail. Now, he's going to name a few of these businesses that lined that street. Go ahead.
J.J. McKeever Dentist, Real Estate Company,
Earl
Real Estate Company, the Oklahoma Sun, the Exchange Insurance Association, Bryars and Andersons, the Taylors, Little Rose Beauty Salon, the Mary Jones Parish School of Natural Education, R.T. Bridgewater Physician, Wesley Jones Physician, J.M. Key Physician, Thomas R. Gentry Real Estate, Economy Drug Company.
So look, y'all, after the lesson, if y'all want to look at this article and the list of all the stuff that the business they had, you're welcome to it. It'll be sitting right here. Now he's going to list other cities in what year similar things happened. Go ahead and read that list in the year.
Other racial massacres: 1866, Memphis. 1873, Colfax, Louisiana. It says statewide.
It was a statewide thing going on in Louisiana. Go ahead.
1917, East St. Louis, Illinois. 1898, Wilmington, North Carolina. 1919, Elaine, Arkansas. 1919, Chicago. 1875, Clinton, Mississippi. 1923, Rosewood, Florida. 1919, Washington, D.C.
See, looking at Rosewood, they got a movie about the one in Rosewood.
Right.
Y'all seen the movie? Yes. They just went in there and wiped that city. Them people was doing fine. But listen, you can call it what you want to call it. If you're not serving God, the punishment gonna keep coming. You can call it what you want to call it. The Lord's anger was kindled against you, and you can't run and hide from him. The only place you can hide is in this book. Is in this book. Otherwise, the Lamentations going to continue on you, Israel. Them people doing what they were supposed to do.
Right.
Come over there and destroy you. That's what they were doing. Following instructions. So now, let's go hit Romans chapter 9. The reason the Lord was so mad with you, Israel, because he gave you the word. It was yours to give to everybody else. It was your job, and you wouldn't do it.
Right.
You would not do it.
Refused to do it.
I don't get mad at nobody for busting Israel's head. I used to.
Right.
But I know better now. I know who's doing it. Get mad at the Lord, because that's who's doing it. If you want to get mad at somebody, he's doing this thing. Romans 9:1, my brother. Go ahead and read it.
I say the truth in Christ.
Yes.
I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart.
Go ahead.
For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
Because the Lord dropped that curse on Israel, y'all. Go ahead and read.
Who are Israelites?
Yes, sir.
To whom pertaineth the adoption?
See, to Israel, to you, brothers and sisters, pertain the adoption. Go ahead.
And the glory.
And the glory.
And the covenant.
And the covenant.
And the giving of the law.
The giving of the law.
And the service of God.
The service of God.
And the promises.
And the promises. Go ahead.
Whose are the fathers, and of whom are concerning the flesh Christ came?
Yes.
Who is over all, God blessed forever. Amen.
Yes, sir. So now let's go into Matthew chapter 15, because the Lord gave this thing to you and you won't live according to it, and you definitely ain't gonna tell nobody about it. So guess what? Go ahead and get your Black Lives Matters poster board, your Black Lives Matters t-shirt, your whatever you want to do. The drama is gonna come and the lamentations will continue unless you go back to your God. That's the only thing that's going to stop it. Matthew chapter 15 and verse 22. So it's going to keep on happening. Matthew 15 and verse 22. Go ahead and read it.
And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil.
Go ahead.
But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she crieth after us.
Go ahead.
But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Now, Jesus said that the only people I'm sent to are my chosen priests, because I got to get them back on their job so they can go out there and do what they've been commissioned to do. He said, that's who I came to. But they won't do the job, though.
Right.
Amos chapter 3, my brother. Amos chapter 3. Amos 3. And we're just going to read those first two verses. Amos 3. And let's read verses 1 and 2. Amos 3, verses 1 and 2, my brother. Go ahead and read that.
Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you.
How did he speak it against them? He spoke this against you, O house of Israel. Go ahead.
O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
So that's where you ain't getting away with nothing, Israel. You ain't getting away with one sin. Not one. If you do it, you got to pay for it. Because the Lord say he only have known you. He don't know nobody else on this planet. That's why when you turn on the news or you just go look out the window, it look like we the only people getting punished by God. We the only people he know. Sometimes I feel like he land other people's sin right at our foot because we didn't teach them. And we won't be a stand-up example to them. All the wickedness they do, we showing them how to do it, and we okaying it. But the Lord say, you ain't getting away with nothing. When y'all go to your little barbecues and your family get together, conversation always come up. Well, so-and-so and so-and-so did that. And he got 6 month probation. My cousin did the same thing. He got 12 years in prison. Yeah, because he's the priest. Everybody else gonna get a slap on the hand. They get a slap on the hand because they didn't know. They can't be charged because you didn't teach them.
Simple.
You ain't even doing it yourself.
Right.
And that's why the Lord say our sin is greater than the sins of Sodom and of Gomorrah. And our punishment and destruction is going to be even greater than theirs. And he dropped some fire on them in the spots where it say grass won't grow there even to this day. He dropped so much fire and brimstone on them cities. And then he said, our situation gonna be worse than theirs.
Yeah.
Huh? Man, you better, if your fear level, if you ain't scared of God by now, I don't know what to say to you.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. So look, let's go to Isaiah 42. Then we got some modern day statistics to show y'all. Isaiah 42, and let's pick it up at verse 22. Isaiah 42 and verse 22. We are just some hard-headed people. We'd rather do everything that the Lord told us not to do instead of doing what he told us to do. And then we gonna complain about everybody else's prosperity and we don't get nothing. We just barely scraping by. Isaiah 42 and 22. Go ahead and read it, brother.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
Yes.
They are all of them snared in holes. They are hid in prison houses.
Yes.
They are for a prey and none delivered, for a spoil and none saith restore.
So look, that verse right there, y'all, it says, we are people robbed and spoiled. Spoil and rob mean the same thing. You know, we use the word spoil to mean something else nowadays, but rob means and spoil means somebody took your stuff, right? He said, we are snared in holes and we hid where, y'all?
Prison house.
And we hid in the prison houses, and he said, we are only to be preyed upon, and ain't nobody gonna deliver you out of it. And you are set up only to have your stuff taken from you. Okay? So now go ahead and continue.
Who among you will give ear to this?
Not many. Go ahead.
Who will hearken and hear for the time to come?
Uh-huh.
Who gave Jacob for a spoil
Mhm.
and Israel to the robbers?
Mhm.
Did not the Lord?
Of course it was the Lord. Go ahead.
He against whom we have sinned.
Mhm.
For they would not walk in his ways,
Mhm.
neither were they obedient unto his law.
Go ahead.
Where therefore he hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle.
Mhm.
And it has set him on fire round about.
I mean, the Lord done set us on fire round about. Go ahead.
Yet he knew not,
And we didn't even know it. Go ahead.
and it burned him.
Yeah.
Yet he laid it not to the heart.
And we don't even wonder, like, why this stuff only happens to us. We won't even ask that question. So look, let's go look at some prison statistics real quick. What that say, brother? Now we got this from from sentencingproject.org. What that say, brother?
As of 2019, there were 476,000 African American prisoners in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
1 of 5 of those were serving a life sentence.
Y'all see that? So that's over 100,000 brothers that's gonna die in prison in a life sentence. Go ahead. What to say there?
While we represent 12% of the population, 40% of prisoners are us.
Do y'all see that? You 12% of the population, but you represent almost half the prisoners in the prison system from coast to coast in the United States. How about that? Don't that look like the thing is tilted? Huh? Go ahead and read what the next line say.
66% of those sentences are life sentences. 66% of life sentences are African Americans.
How about that? Out of all the life sentences out there, almost 70% of them is us. Go ahead and read that other part.
There were
read all of it.
Okay. Examiner Enterprise gave FBI stats.
Mm-hmm.
There were 17,719 murders in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
9,913 were African Americans. That's 56%.
Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? Go ahead and read, brother.
200 a week, or 27 to 28 a day.
How about that?
Man.
I mean, 28 of us get killed a day in the United States. You let one white person come up missing, and the news gets plastered with it. Your kids get killed, nobody care. Nobody care. No, it ain't on the news when Lil Vice Grip come up missing, man. Don't nobody care. What that next thing say right there?
24,084 HIV cases were reported. 9,123 were African American.
Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? What else you say?
Again, 12% of the population, but 38% of HIV cases.
The Lord told you, I'm going to put on you all the diseases of Egypt. I'm going to put on you. And even the ones not written in this book, I'm going to put them on you too.
Yes,
Didn't
sir.
he say that?
Yes, sir.
In Deuteronomy chapter 28?
Yes, sir. We read that.
All this stuff is tilted toward the chosen priests of God who reject the word and won't live according to the word. So it's Lamentations in the past and it's Lamentations right here in the present. We looking at it. So now let's go and hit Lamentations, and can the audio video team put the thumbnail up, the big thumbnail real quick on the screen for the viewers? Because you will see this this silhouette of a person, and in the upper part of the silhouette, you will see the pyramids in Egypt and some old buildings from back then. But down in the bottom part, you'll see the Statue of Liberty and just modern day landscape of a city. You know, And so it's showing you that the lamenting for us go back thousands of years, and it came all the way up even to right now. We have reasons to lament for our people. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I do, because I know tomorrow I'm gonna be somewhere on Sunday, and I'm gonna see an old brother, 7, 8 years old, at the gas station in this Cadillac, just come from church, got a nice suit on, pumping gas. I'm gonna lament for that brother, because he should have been doing something today.
Right.
He should have been sitting up in a spot today.
Yes, Lord.
Man. And with all this knowledge comes a little sorrow, y'all, because we understand how much trouble these people are in. Let's go Lamentations chapter 5, my brother. We almost done, y'all. We just got 4 more spots, okay? We almost done. Lamentations 5, and let's pick it up at verse 7. Lamentations 5 and verse 7. Go ahead and read it.
Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities.
Y'all see that? See, our fathers sinned and they dead, but we living with the sentence that they left for us. We are living with it. Skip down and pick it up at verse 20. Go ahead and read it.
Wherefore dost thou forget us forever and forsake us so long time?
So that's a question that Jeremiah wrote, and he's asking the question. The Lord said, he said, how did you forget us? Did you forget us forever and forsake us for such a long time? Go ahead and continue.
Turn thou us unto thee, O Lord, and we shall be turned. Renew our days as of old.
Go ahead.
But thou hast utterly rejected us. Thou art very wroth against us.
Because the Lord is the one mad at you. So you can call it whatever you want to call it when these other nationalities of people show that anger towards you. But you have to understand and know that the Lord got them looking at you like that. But if you doing what you're supposed to be doing, then they'll open the door and get out your way. Okay? He said he'll make your enemies be at peace with you if you do what he's saying to do. And I don't know nothing else he told you that'll get him to do that for you, except your ways be pleasing to him, which is keeping his laws and his statutes, his judgments, and his commandments. So now let's go hit,
Make it plain.
So now let's go and hit Daniel 9, and then we got 2 more spots after that. Daniel chapter 9. So ain't no need in getting mad at nobody. You just get your house in order.
Right.
And let the rest take care of itself. Daniel 9 and 9. Lamentations past and present. It wasn't just in the past, it's still today. Daniel 9 and 9. Go ahead and read it.
To the Lord our God belong mercies,
and
forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him.
Go ahead.
Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants, the prophets. Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
It didn't say the curse might be poured. It said the curse is.
That's right.
We under it.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead and read.
And he have confirmed his word, which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing us upon a great by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem.
Nowhere else on the planet has that happened. The Lord coming in, sack a city, and then drag all the people away and spread them all over the globe as female and male slaves, where you got sold not in the woods where they had a secret dog fights at, but right downtown on the sidewalk. And the people coming up on you, bundling with you, looking at your body parts, got you spreading this, bending over, looking at this, checking you out before they buy you like cattle. The Lord ain't did that to nobody but me and you. That's it. That's your punishment, Israel. He did that to us. So he brought upon us this great evil, ain't been done to nobody else. You got 200 and some nationalities of people just right here in the United States, probably right here in Oakland. All these nationalities, and only one of them this has happened to. And when you see them other brown people that live up there on North Broadway, up North Oakland Telegraph, that's from them Hamites from Eritrea and
Right.
and Somalia and Ethiopia. They don't want nothing to do with you. They don't want nothing to do with you. Nothing. And they with everybody else against you. Them having that brown skin don't mean nothing. Because they are not you. Their blood is different from yours. They children of Ham, and we children of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. And that's who the Lord assigned us with a job to do, to be the spiritual professors to the rest of everybody else on the planet. And we dropped the lesson plan book and poured gas on it and lit it up. Go ahead and read.
As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us, yet may we not our prayer before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquity and understand thy truth.
All this trouble, and we still won't turn to him. We still got to do that other stuff. We still can't do his stuff. Go ahead and read.
Therefore have the Lord watched upon the evil.
Who watched upon it?
The Lord.
Go ahead.
And brought it upon us. For the Lord our God is righteous in all his works,
yes, sir,
which he doeth. For we obeyed not his voice.
See, the Lord going upside your head is righteousness. The Lord is righteous in his works. Whooping you, locking you up, sending you to prison, giving you life sentences. I remember I was transporting a lady who was she was a corrections officer at the what that prison down in Louisiana, the big one, Angola. The warden at the time, she told me that she had to take a bus load of them prisoners to Denham Springs to clean up a brick yard of a brick company. And in exchange for them prisoners cleaning up that brick yard all day in the 98-degree temperature, was the warden get some free bricks to build his house. Still slaves right now. Go ahead, brother.
And now, O Lord our God, that has brought thy people forth out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and has gotten thee renown, as at this day we have sinned, we have done wickedly.
Yes, sir. We still in the prisons, and everybody's still using us as a commodity, even to this day. So look, let's go hit Psalm 44, and we got one more spot left. Psalm 44, and we got one more spot after that. Psalm 44, we're going to pick it up at verse 11. So when you see this stuff happening out here, just understand who's bringing it. You got to keep that at the front of your head. Sometimes your flesh want to kick in. Sometimes your heart is troubled by seeing your people getting what appears to be mistreated. But a lot of times we don't know what that brother did last week.
Come on.
All I know is he's in Cincinnati, Ohio. I don't know him. All I know is the police pulled him over for a busted tail light and the brother come up dead. I don't know what he did.
Right.
But all I know this is the Lord is behind everything. The book say, if his eyes on a sparrow, it sure enough is on you.
Come on.
And if you got some sins that you've been doing, he gonna deal with you on that. I don't know if you raped somebody, killed somebody, you've been stealing or blaspheming the name of the Lord. I don't know what you did. So I'm gonna reserve judgment. And I'm gonna say, the Lord saw it and the Lord is dealing with it. I'm gonna have to leave it at that. And I'm gonna have to keep on paying PG&E for my light bill. And I'm gonna have to keep on going to Safeway and grocery shopping. And I'm gonna have to keep on coming in here teaching this word of God. I'm not getting in them politics. Because the Lord, the earth is his and the fullness thereof. And he watching everything that's happening. So when Satan show up in your life and in your house, the Lord okayed that. What the reason? I don't know. I ain't getting in no politics. I don't seen too much to get involved in that. I'm not going to stress myself out. I got enough to stress me out right now. Okay? Psalm 44 and 11. Go ahead and read it, brother.
Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat.
So now watch this here. Now this verse says the Lord gave us like sheep appointed for meat. What else did he do?
And has scattered us among the heathen.
Now he said it in Deuteronomy 32. He was going to scatter us, right? Didn't we read that? Go ahead and read.
Thou sellest thy people for naught,
He said, you sold us. Go ahead and read.
and dost not increase thy wealth by their price.
Go ahead.
Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors.
Y'all see that? The Lord made us a reproach to everybody. They didn't just make up reasons to hate us and not like us. The Lord put it in them to do this. Go ahead and read.
A scorn and a derision to them that are around about us.
And that's why when you do move in a neighborhood, if they can't stop you from buying in there, when you do come in, they call that thing white flight.
Yes, sir.
U-Haul and Penske trucks everywhere. They getting up out of there because they don't want to be around you. Because your son's going to stand on the corners. We looking at his underwear, his pants down here. You ain't going to take care of your house. Your son going to come in their house when they see that 70-inch flat screen go in there. Look, them people don't want to be around you. The Lord put that on them. He say, you made us a reproach to them, to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us. They don't want you around.
No, sir.
Go ahead and read.
Thou makest us a byword among the heathen.
Yes.
A shaking of the head among the people.
Now the Lord did all. He made us a shaking of the head among the people. Hey, I'm shaking my head at the people.
That's right.
Brother 50 years old walking down the street, holding his belt buckle down here, walking crazy. I'm shaking my head.
SMH.
Then I be looking at a sister like, you with this dude? And y'all sons see that? It's mind-blowing. Let's go hit we got two more spots. Jeremiah 30, then we got one after that. Jeremiah 30, verse 1. I mean, the Lord made us a shaking of the head among the people. We are an embarrassment all the time. Everywhere I go, somebody's embarrassing. They don't even realize they're embarrassing themselves. And me and the rest of us just sitting there looking at them because everybody think I'm like that. They think you like that. They think Brother Tolliver's like that. One dude. Jeremiah 30:1. Go ahead and read.
The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord saying, Thus speaketh the Lord God of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book.
Yes, sir.
For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it.
Okay, so look, the days coming where the Lord is going to gather Israel. That day ain't here yet, okay? So now let's go to Joel chapter 3. This is our last spot. Them days ain't here yet, and the Lord said he's going to do the gathering. So when Prince whoever show up and say he gathering Israel and we need to go on back over there to the land, don't follow that dude over there, okay? Because the Lord said he's going to do the gathering. Joel, my brother, chapter 3, let's start at verse 1. Joel 3:1. Go ahead and read it.
For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
So the Lord say in those days, he's going to bring again the captivity of Judah. And he's going to restore us. Go ahead and read.
I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people.
See that? The Lord say, I'm going to bring all them nations down there and I'm going to plead with them nations for my people. Go ahead.
And for my heritage, Israel.
That's right. Go ahead.
Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
Do y'all see that? The Lord say, I'm going to scatter you. But then he say, the nations scattered you because he made them scatter you. And then he said, and they parted my land. They over there fighting over the land still right now.
Right now.
Ishmael over there. Rome want a piece of it. Everybody want a piece of it. Esau over there. Everybody trying to get that land because you are not at home. Your house been left vacant. And squatters over there right now. Go ahead and read.
And they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for an harlot.
See, look, of course, if we have been mediums of exchange, a man want a harlot, a prostitute, he ain't got no money. Hey, take this little slave boy and come on in this room with me. Go ahead and read.
and sold a girl for wine.
If you want some wine, you ain't got no money for the wine. Hey, take this little slave girl. Y'all can put her to work around here. Go ahead and read.
That they might drink.
That they might drink. So look, my brother, skip on down to verse 5 and continue.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried it into your temples, my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border.
Y'all see that? So he's saying you have sold his people that they might be removed far from their border. Not only did you get sold to the Grecians, you got sold to the people in Britain, to the Spaniards, the Portuguese, everybody done had us. We over there in India called I showed somebody a video of some people look just like us in India. The city, they call them Siddi. You just look them up on YouTube, you see some video. People look like they could have been sitting in this room today. But when you mention India, you don't see us.
No.
You see them other people. Everybody done had their hands on us, right? So that's why when you go to Jamaica, the British people took their Israelite slaves down to Jamaica. The Spaniards took theirs to Dominican Republic and to Puerto Rico and to Cuba. The Portuguese took theirs down to Brazil. We everywhere, y'all. We just speak the tongue of our captor. But the Lord did a thing on us, and it was so perfect that you can't even fix it. What verse was that, brother?
Starting 7.
Go ahead.
Behold,
yes,
I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head.
Skip down to verse 16 and continue.
The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem.
Yes.
And in the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel.
Yes.
So shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters, and a fountain shall come forth of the house of the Lord, and shall water the valley of Shittim.
Skip down to 20 and read.
But Judah shall dwell forever.
Yes.
And Jerusalem from generation to generation.
Yes, sir. One more verse.
For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for the Lord dwelleth in Zion.
So look, brothers and sisters, the Lord is going to gather us back up when he comes back, not a moment before then. So it's our job for our own protection to serve the Lord God in truth and in spirit. That way we can breathe. The Lord's foot comes off of our neck and we can come up for air. I know we want that in addition to getting that salvation at the end. So look, this lesson was titled Lamentations, Past and Present, because the Lamentations started thousands of years ago, and we still looking at it right now today, brothers and sisters. And the only way to get yourself out from under that is get up under that blood and serve the Lord God according to what's written in his Bible. And I hope and pray that somebody got edified with today's lesson. And I thank you for your time, okay?